Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? Well, decided to go live on this one, man. I'm pretty sure y'all all done heard the news. Um, so we know that Luis Ortiz was scheduled, or is scheduled, or was looking to be on the December 1st card with Wilder and Fury. Uh, he was looking for an opponent, and Dillian Whyte said, "Hey, I'll fight you December 22nd." We know Luis Ortiz needed a opponent for December 1st. So, in my opinion, I thought that Luis Ortiz should try to get him over here. Try to fight. I think the pay-per-view card. I think those four dudes can sell the hell out of this card, man. If you were to have Ortiz and White on this card. That was just my opinion on it. Plus, I was being a little bit greedy because, I'm going to the fight and I would like to see Luis Ortiz live. All right. Now, regardless of all that, Jay Jimenez, Ortiz's manager, he also didn't want the fight on December 22nd either. He was trying to, he was saying that they should try to get him over here. He went over the fact that, and all this article's on Boxing Scene. I'm sure all you guys have seen it, man. It came out like probably 6 hours ago. He was talking about, the WBC ordered us to fight for the second mandatory spot. We know that Brazil has the mandatory spot. Dillian Whyte wasn't really cool with that. He wanted it set up to where if he beat Ortiz, he gets the title shot next. You know what I mean? Next. So he wasn't cool with that setup. But with all that said, though, man, Luis Ortiz accepted the offer for December 22nd. So this is going to be one of them things where this is like you getting a rug pulled up from under you, Dillian Whyte, or you really about that action. Now, I know there's a lot of things that can happen, right? They can say that, or Ortiz asked for too much money, but we can't have it both ways here because a lot of fans were saying, hey, man, it's stupid for Ortiz to fight on the Wilder undercard. Why doesn't he go to the UK and fight Dillian Whyte? He'll make more money than he would fighting Dillian Whyte on the the Fury versus Wilder, the undercard for Wilder Fury. He'll make more money being in the headline main event fighting UK versus Whyte. So they can't lowball the dude. If that was, the thoughts of everybody that he can make, and I was thinking the same thing. I was like, shit, man, if you probably take that Dillian Whyte fight, that'll probably be a main event. We know how the UK go out and support big fights. That is a huge heavyweight fight. And you would think he would make more money out there, right? That's, so he can't, man. Dillian Whyte has to take this fight, man. I don't want to hear nothing about how the Derek Chisora fight makes more sense. Nah. You already fought Derek Chisora. It was a close fight. You won the fight. All right. Do I think Chisora and Whyte will be another good, entertaining fight? Yeah, of course. Based on styles and based on they got history and from the first fight, yeah. But these are the type of fights that Dillian Whyte said he wants, right? Luis Ortiz. And this is my thing. Everybody say don't fight Luis Ortiz until it's time to really fight Luis Ortiz. And I was trying to wait until Dillian Whyte came out and responded, because usually he responds pretty prompt when people call him out or talk shit about him, so he hasn't got a chance to respond. I haven't seen anything. If you have, let me know in the chat. But I was trying to wait till he came out and said something. So I haven't heard anything as of yet. I hope that Ortiz saying he ready, man. He's saying pretty much send the contract. He's calling his bluff pretty much. You know what I mean? So I hope Hearn and those guys wasn't thinking like, man, there's no way Luis Ortiz will step off that December 1st card. Let's just say we'll fight on December 22nd. Get that going. And then if he doesn't accept it, we'll say he didn't want to fight. Well, and Luis Ortiz went against the word of his management. And his management, or Jay Jimenez in our article, was saying, hey, man, I didn't want him to take this fight. I wanted, Whyte to come over here. But at the end of the day, this is the fighter's decision. He really wants this fight. He wants to prove that he can beat Dillian Whyte, so he'll go to his hometown. Like, this is gangster, man. Like, I love what Luis Ortiz is doing. I love this. It's like, all right, you know what? I'll fight you. Fuck it. And correct me if I'm wrong, didn't this take only took like a day or two for him to respond and say that he'll go to the UK? It wasn't like You know, 3 weeks went by, then he finally said, I'll go. Nah, this is like literally because Whyte and Ortiz was going back and forth, what, just the other day here, like literally 2 days ago or something like that. So this is pretty quick, you know. So I don't want to hear, oh, he took too long to respond. It was literally like a day. I don't think it was a full 24 hours. So it's gonna look bad on Dillian Whyte. And I like Dillian. It has nothing to do with me liking him as a fighter. No, it's just this shit gonna look bad. Because he made it seem like, nah, come get this smoke December 22nd. So Ortiz answered that call. I'm waiting for Dillian Whyte to respond. I'm just waiting for the rebuttal. Hopefully, it's them telling us that the fight's made. Look, I want this fight made. I don't want Dillian Whyte not to take this. You know, and fans, they like to talk about business. To me, if I'm looking at the business part of things, I thought originally the best business decision for Dillian Whyte when Brazil offered his mandatory status, say, hey, man, you're the silver champion. I'm the next guy in line. Because the WBC, I've seen an article, they're going to try to get the winner out of Wilder versus Fury to fight AJ. And if that doesn't happen, then Brazil will get his title shot. That came out today on Boxing Scene WBC, all right? But what I thought would have made the best business sense for Dillian Whyte a few months ago is when Brazil was offering to fight him, put up his mandatory position, and we know that Whyte's the silver champion, because if they were to fight and Whyte were to beat Brazil, they're not going to have Brazil go in there and still fight Deontay Wilder with a loss. That just wouldn't make any fucking sense. All right, and I'm sure the Dillian Whyte, his team, Hearn and Brazil and all, they could have sat down with the WBC and said, hey, this is what we want to do. You know what I mean? I'm sure the WBC would have been fine with that. I mean, because to tell you the truth, the WBC should have had made them fight each other after they both won their WBC elimination bouts. After Brazil beat Molina and after Whyte beat Helenius. We were all, a lot of us, not just me, but a lot of us were saying, why don't they just fight next? That, you know, so we can get this mandatory situation cleared up. But Brazil was and people were saying that Brazil is only doing it for a payday. Okay, yeah, he wants to get paid. And he's also put up, if the dude loses, he loses out. It's not like, you know what I mean? He's still gonna get a title shot. If he loses the Whyte, it's over. You know what I mean? So to me, I thought that made the most business sense, because even Brazil said that he was willing to go out there. That's why I was like, well, shit, if you want to get close to that title shot, why not just fight Brazil? I'm sure the WBC will sit down with y'all and get that all ironed out. You know, so now he has a Luis Ortiz problem, you know, so you know, I think the fight's a little bit closer than some people think. Some people think Luis Ortiz will go in there and just completely spark him out, dominate him. No, I think Dillian Whyte gonna give you some trouble, man. The dude comes to fight, he can take a good shot, and he got heavy hands. You know what I mean? But Ortiz is such a marksman with his counter ability. I think it's a good fight. I really do, and I think it's closer than some people think. But yeah, man, this is. Again, who wants to fight? And always people say, you trying to make Ortiz out to be a monster. Nah, man, I'm just following the timeline, man. I'm just following the timeline of people say they'll fight Luis Ortiz, and he's old, and he's this, and he's that, and we'll fight him, and then they don't fight him. So hopefully, Dillian Whyte, like Deontay Wilder, will break that chain and actually fight the dude. This one ain't gonna be long, man. Let's see what y'all talking about really quick here. Marlo's Corner was good, fam. Shotgun Sandwich ENT. Renee Saucedo was good. From El Paso, Texas. What's up? Christian Bumer says, I definitely said I wanted to see this fight. I hope it happens for sure. Me too, man. D Paul, what's up? Johnny Todd, Michael Johnson, what's up, bro? He says Dillian Bahadiman Snatcher versus Derek Chisora. Yeah, that, I mean, like I said, bro, that first fight was a good fight. I'm not gonna sit here in front. That was a good ass back and forth fight. Could have went either way, to tell you the truth. But and then, you know what else would make sense, man? Since you brought up Chisora, I was thinking about this as well. Whyte and Ortiz can fight. They could be the main event. And then you don't have to leave Chisora hanging. You can have Chisora against Jarrell Miller. Since Jarrell Miller is cool with Eddie Hearn, you can have them fight. Stylistically, it'll make sense. You got fucking Dillian Whyte, Dominic Brazil, Chisora, and Jarrell Miller selling a card. Do you know how crazy the press are gonna be? They will sell the shit out of that card. Jarrell Miller literally just ran through poor Polo Thomas Adamak. Polo Thomas Adamak, the former light heavyweight and cruiserweight champion, man. He did his thing back in the day at those weights, but Polo Thomas Adamak, Jarrell just ran through him. Easy work. Easy work. He should be ready to fight in December. Easy. That's what I would do if I was Eddie Hearn. If Ortiz, that's what I would do. But go back to what I was saying, though, as far as the best business decision I thought for Dillian Whyte was to fight Brazil, with all, with everything that, with all the implications that could have went into that fight. But if they're going to go to Ortiz route, I'll say Whyte versus Ortiz, and then Chisora versus Big Baby. I'm sure Big Baby, wouldn't mind fighting on that undercard. Should he just fought on Vargas Delorme or whatever the fuck that was? So a big fight like this in the UK, heavyweights. But then that makes me think, what the fuck is Dominic Brazil going to do? Because I know that Dominic is training. Is he going to take like some type of journey, like French contender, journeyman type guy to stay busy? Or is he just going to wait it out? But man, he's going to be waiting for a long ass time. That dude going to have to get in the ring and just stay sharp, fight somebody. Hopefully there's no excuses, man, because you can't call somebody out, man, and then they say, all right, let's get it. And then there's an excuse. They should make this fight. What are the common excuses? He want too much money, some shit like that. But to me, if people are saying that he was, why would Ortiz fight on the Fury Wilder undercard when he will make way much more money and be in a higher profile fight for a main event in the UK? Well, then you can't lowball the dude. You can't pay him less than what he made against Wilder. If we're going to go by that logic, that he'll make more money in the UK. Titus, all right, let me see if I can scroll up real quick. All right, Christian Bumer says he'll make more money than he did in the Wilder fight for sure. All right, well, hopefully Eddie Hearn has the same concessions as you do, and we can get it done. Because I thought that as well. That's why I always said, from a business perspective, yeah, go to the UK. But from a fan just wanting to see Luis Ortiz live, I want to see Luis Ortiz on the undercard of Wilder Fury. And just to help the card out, you know what I'm saying? Just to help the undercard out, man. I know Joe Joyce is calling out Gerald Washington to be on that undercard, so I guess we'll see. The Wonderful Life of Bob J. He says Ortiz potential opponent. Ortiz is 70 years old. Yeah, that sounds funny, and we can joke, but he's not 70. And if he is, he's the baddest 70-year-old I've ever fucking seen. So, I mean, we can joke on the 70, but the other joke that just came out is he just said he'll take the fight. I laughed at that. I thought that was funny because I'm sure that a lot of people thought that he wasn't going to take it, that he just stuck to this December 1st thing. He's not going to budge. He's not going to want the smoke. Nope. He fooled us all. Even his manager is trying to say, nah, man, don't take it. And Ortiz like, nah, fuck that, man. Let me go over here and bust this dude's head open. So, you can joke and say he's 77. You can say that he wear adult Pampers. You can say whatever you want. We can laugh and giggle and hee ha ha. But the facts is he want the smoke. So all jokes aside, let's get the fight done. And if Dillian Whyte win, he getting all credit for me. See, some of you guys are setting it up to not give the guy credit. Because you can't say, oh, Wilder beat an old man that's overrated, and then Dillian Whyte beat him. You say, oh, that's a good win. He beat him better than Wilder. No, both guys deserve no credit then if they're just beating up an old, overrated guy, right? If we want to be fair, right? Now, I'm giving Dillian Whyte all credit if he beats Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz is a bad motherfucker, man. In the history of the sport, throughout different decades, some of the older guys have been some of the baddest motherfuckers out there fighting. Larry Holmes in his 40s wasn't an easy fight for nobody. Ask Ray Mercer when he was undefeated going in there trying to fight Larry. Ask Michael Moore when he fought Big George. Even Klitschko was getting motherfuckers hell going into his late 30s and 40s. You know what I mean? So we go on and on, man. Shotgun Sandwich ENT says, I love this fight, bro. Me too, man. Let's see here. D-Pog says, makes sense for Ortiz rather than coming to the States and making small money on the undercard. I'm not sure how much he was going to make. And that's another thing. Fans are talking about like they just know how much a motherfucking fighter going to make. Oh, he only get this much. I mean, unless some of y'all are privy to what's going on behind the scenes. I mean, I know it's easy to look up how much he made against Wilder and then try to do your own calculations, but we really don't know. But the assumption and the guess is he would make more money in the UK. So hopefully Hearn will give him that check that's worth more money in the UK. And I'm sure Luis Ortiz will take the fight. D-Pog says Dillian Whyte wants to fight. Yeah, he said he did. Now I'm just waiting for him to confirm it and for us to get it going. D-Pog, then he says Ortiz shouldn't price himself out. He took $500K to fight the champ. So Hurd should be able to pay him that or less. Huh? So pay him exactly what he made against Wilder or pay him less? Is that what you're saying? I thought he was going to go out there and make more, not go out there and make the same or make less. Everybody was saying he'll make more fighting in the UK. You said you hope that he don't overprice himself. That's cool. And I hope he don't get lowballed. So I guess we're kind of in the same boat, right? You don't want to see him overprice himself. And I don't want to see him get lowballed offering him a fucking glass of juice and a cheese sandwich. You know what I mean? Hopefully they pay him for worthy of being in the UK main event at the heavyweight division with involving Dillian Whyte. D-Pog says you're already shitting on Whyte and he hasn't even responded yet. Nah, bro, I just told you I'm waiting on him to respond. I'm just going over, I don't want Eddie Hearn or them to try to not make the fight saying he overpriced himself. I'll wait for him to respond. I'm not shitting on nobody. I just don't want, well, I mean, take it how you want. But I just don't want nobody to say, because I hate when fighters do this, man. They always say they want to fight somebody, and as soon as a person steps up, there's always types of fucking excuses. I know that the other side can possibly overprice himself, but also know the other side can possibly lowball the fuck out of somebody. So we need some middle ground here, man. Unbiased Boxing says, are you going to be watching Martin Bacole fight Michael Hunter next week when you got winning? Hell yeah, I'm watching that fight. That's a good one, man. I've done a video about it, but I'm gonna do a style breakdown on that one. So just be on the lookout for that. Hell yeah, that's gonna be a good fucking fight. Jay Patty says, say whatever you want, all jokes aside, most feared heavyweight and skilled out here right now. D-Pog, or let me see, Lewis Hinton says, the only fighter that wasn't afraid of King Kong was Wilder. That says a lot. Yeah, Wilder wanted it. D-Pog says the winner of Ortiz versus Whyte should get a straight shot at AJ versus Wilder. Yeah, they should, but that's not how the WBC has it rolled out, man. I like to go on what should happen too, just like I thought Undisputed should have happened a while ago. I thought instead of Wilder and Fury and AJ Povetkin, I thought AJ versus Wilder should have happened. So with that said, what they have it planned out is for Brazil to get it. Now, I think that the winner out of Ortiz Whyte is more deserving because they fucking fighting each other, but the WBC already has it mapped out. I'm not saying I agree with them. I'm just letting you know what is the facts. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think the winner out of Ortiz and Whyte is more deserving than a Dominic Brazil. Yeah, I totally agree with that. But WBC has the shit panned out to where Brazil's getting his title shot, and for the 1 millionth time, I don't think that a win. I do not think that the elimination match between Brazil and Molina deserves to be the mandatory. So I can't stress that enough. Daniel Johnson says, yo, Mr. Boxer, thanks for another great video. I think personally that Ortiz beats Whyte fairly comfortably, but if Whyte can do this, then to me, he proves he deserving of a fight against Wilder AJ. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, man, just real quick, I know some people think I'm shitting on Whyte. Nah, I'm just shitting on, I hope they don't try to, you know, not make this fight, man. I think sometimes when shit like this happens, they need to just, you know, teams meet with each other, man. Let's get this fight made. Luis Ortiz doesn't seem like a hard person to negotiate with. He, you know, the Wilder fight got made. Besides the whole the first time when it was supposed to take place, and the whole Luis Ortiz heart meds and all that. Besides that little discrepancy, Luis Ortiz seemed like a easy guy to make a fight with. When Jennings wanted to fight him, that went pretty smooth. Wilder wanted to fight him, that went smooth. You know what I mean? So I don't see Luis. I've never really heard of Luis Ortiz being a difficult person to deal with. So it's gonna be funny if this trend starts all of a sudden. I never heard. I mean, unless you guys correct me if I'm wrong, man. I never heard Luis Ortiz and his team being difficult to deal with when it comes to making a fight. I don't recall. So look, man, in a nutshell, waiting for Dillian Whyte to respond, and then we'll go from there. But just my initial response off of hearing this news, this is it. All right. So yes, I know we need to wait for Dillian Whyte to respond, and then we can get a more clear picture of what's going on here. All right. So that's my initial reaction. I know people were waiting for me to hear what I had to say about it, but that's my initial reaction on it, man. So now we just sit back and wait for Dillian Whyte to respond to this, and Eddie Hearn, and we will go from there. Tone Bangers, what it do, man? James Coleman, what's up? Pete, was good? Wool Bag. Dan the Man, what's up, man? He says, if Ortiz priced himself out, why didn't Whyte allow the fight to go to a purse bid? Yeah, and Dan, like I was saying, man, I've never seen a situation. Oh, and then before I go on, well, I'll just talk about it real quick. Yeah, Dan, what I was saying in here is I've never heard of or remember or recall a time when Luis Ortiz made it difficult to get a fight with him. And I know you just joined, Dan, so I don't know if you heard me, but I was saying the Brian Jennings fight, from my recollection, went smoothly to make the fight. I do remember Jennings just harping over drug testing. They wanted random drug testing. Ortiz did it. I remember that going into that fight, Jennings was about the drug testing because of Ortiz's history. And Ortiz went through it and passed all his tests, and they fought. Deontay Wilder, the only discrepancy, like I said, I've ever seen with that situation is just that blood pressure med stuff. But besides that little hiccup, it was easy to negotiate with Ortiz, even after that. So I've never heard of Ortiz being this hard guy to deal with, overpricing himself. I've never heard of it, man. So it's gonna be interesting to see if that all of a sudden comes up now, where he's just this hard guy to deal with, according to Hearn. If that even happens, man, you know what I'm saying? But me, I'm just trying to look at all things. I'm trying to consider all things, man. So hopefully it does go well. And then another thing that I got from the article, Jake Jimenez says that they can't get this fight, that they would like to fight Pulev or Povetkin. The Pulev fight, I'm not sure if it just slipped Jake Jimenez's head, but Pulev has Huey Fury coming up. The winner of that is going to be the mandatory for the IBF strap. So maybe it just slipped his mind. Or maybe he's just picking Pulev, but I don't see Pulev saying, oh, I'll fight Ortiz while I wait on my shot. I just don't see that. You know what I mean? Plus, if he loses, he won't have a shot. But And then Povetkin, I wouldn't mind seeing that fight. Povetkin is coming off a loss, but he's a, in my opinion, he's a world-class heavyweight. That's a good fight right there. That's a good scrap. You know, so then if I was Ortiz in their camp, I'll see if Brazil is interested in putting that offer out to him. You know, the offer that he made to Dillian Whyte. And I know people are going to say, oh, no, he only offered it to Whyte because he can make money. Okay, well, I'm just saying, just see if he's interested in offering that same offer of, hey, I'll put up my mandatory position to fight you. See if Brazil is interested. Just see if he's interested. He might say hell no and run the other way. Or you never know with Dominic Brazil, man. He may step up and say, oh, I'll fight him. You know, so and Jarrell Miller has to be on the radar sooner or later for like Ortiz. I know they're cool with each other and all that cool stuff, but he should be on the radar. Shosha, Adam Konowski should also be on the radar, man. Because I think those are easy fights to make, especially the Konowski fight. I think that's the easy one to make. Joseph Parker can be on the radar. I mean, you know, but Pulev and Povetkin, good fights, but it's just Pulev has Huey Fury coming up, and the Povetkin fight. Hey, if they said Ortiz Povetkin's next, I'm watching it. It's gonna be a good fucking fight, a good fight. I can see Povetkin trying to come forward and Ortiz trying to find counters. They might fight shoulder to shoulder. A lot can go on in that fight. Good fucking fight, man. And Zippers234 says, what would you think of Joyce versus Ruiz on the undercard? Well, they definitely would not have to go looking for each other in the ring based on their styles. It's gonna be classic big man versus classic little man. But man, Ortiz is a little, that motherfucker's I mean, not Ortiz, I'm sorry, Ruiz. You asked me about Joyce and Ruiz. That'd be a good fight. They won't have to go looking for each other. They'll both come forward. Tall, you know, classic tall come forward big guy versus smaller come forward big guy as far as height. Man, Ruiz got good hand speed, good combination puncher, some of the fastest hands in the division. He can take a punch. He likes to work on the inside. Joyce is not going to run away from a fight. He's going to throw heavy leather. He does open up sometimes where he's there to get hit. Ruiz like to put up the high guard. I can see Joyce trying to land shots around the guard and through the guard. I can see Ruiz busting up his body. I mean, that'd be somebody's going to bleed in that one. Somebody's going to bleed in that one. I think that'd be a good fucking fight. Action. But hey, man, I'm going to jump off, man. I just gave my quick opinion about it, man. We'll just, I'm going to sit back and wait to see what, let me see what Dan say, though. Yo, hey, shout out to Dan, man. He says, I ask this question typically when a fight is mandated and if both fighters can't come to an agreement, a purse bid is called. Yeah, when you know, I thought when they made that, I thought that it had a chance of going down in. But then I know Whyte was saying that, you know, I'll fight him, but if I fight him, I have to get my shot next. Now, not this second mandatory shit. All right, man, that's it on this one. I'm gonna wait till my man Dillian Whyte comes out, and hopefully Dillian Whyte comes out and he's telling us, yeah, we're about to send a contract over and we're about to get this fight made. Hopefully that's the news that we hear. And then as far as Wilder and Fury, hopefully they can find, if Ortiz is taking off that card, hopefully they find a good replacement, man, because that's a big gaping hole right there, man, not having Ortiz on that undercard. Especially if he were able to get a decent opponent. I think that just adds to that card, man. It just adds to it. So you guys let me know what you think in the comment section. I'll be waiting for my man Dillian Whyte to respond. All right, y'all. I'm going, man.